Hey everyone, it's the Doom Dog. This is a video that I promised you guys that I would do a long time ago. It seems a year or two ago that we got word that Prima Games, who is well known for making strategy guides, was going to shut down. And as a longtime gamer who has been gaming and buying strategy guides since sometime in the 90s, this kind of makes me sad. I realize that in today's day and age we really don't need them because we get Let's Plays and walkthroughs and game facts and all kinds of stuff to help us with our games, and we can just look online and ask people if we get stuck. But it was always a really important part of the industry, wasn't it? Like, strategy guides were a big deal, at least to me. I always loved them. So it's kind of sad to see them go. So I wanted to talk about them. I just wanted to show you guys my collection. So first off, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I got this one from a friend of mine who was selling off a bunch of his games at the time. He sold me both that and the game for it. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Now, this is a good one. I've had this, I think I got this at Barnes & Noble a long time ago. Obviously a timeless classic. I tend to prefer Link to the Past to this one, but you can't go wrong with this one. It is a good game. I just don't think it's quite the absolutely perfect masterpiece that everybody else does. Shadow Hearts from the New World. Unfortunately, this is the only Shadow Hearts game that I own. I would like to get more of them, but I really enjoyed this one. Other Shadow Hearts fans seem to not like it very much, and damned if I know why. I thought it was a pretty good RPG. Uncharted Drake's Fortune. Boy, if you have not played the Uncharted series by this point, what are you waiting for? This is a great action-adventure game that is an absolute must-play for anybody that's a fan of good stories, good characters, good music, and Tomb Raider. If you like all of those things, you'll dig the Uncharted series. It's great, highly recommended, especially on the PlayStation 4 where you can play it in 1080p and 60 frames per second. It feels so smooth on that console. You know, the funny thing is, I'm not that big of a fan of Kingdom Hearts. Like, I have the strategy guides for both 1 and 2, and I own both 1 and 2. I've beaten them. They never really grabbed my attention like they did with everybody else, and I don't know what it is about it. The combat just feels kind of a bit repetitive and dull to me, and the story and characters for the most part never click. There's some characters in this that I do like. Axel was pretty cool. Riku was pretty cool. But as a general rule, I'm not too big on this series as a whole. Oh, the irony with the next one being the first Kingdom Hearts. I've got that one too. I don't feel like I need to spend a lot of time talking about this one, because I played Kingdom Hearts 1 and didn't get it. And everybody told me, try it again, play some more, you'll get it. So I picked up Chain of Memories on the Game Boy Advance, and it basically fixed every major problem that I had with the first Kingdom Hearts, and I liked it. And then I come to find out that none of the rest of the fan base does like it. I thought it added much needed depth and strategy to the combat. I thought it evened out the pacing quite a bit more. I loved that it fleshed out Riku quite a bit. I liked it. And then I played Kingdom Hearts 2, and it kind of undid most of what I loved about Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. Anyway, the Special Edition Strategy Guide of Final Fantasy XII. I love this game. It might be my favorite 3D Final Fantasy, but that's an incredibly tall order considering how good 9 and Tactics are. But this might be it, because it is an absolute masterpiece, and if you're an RPG fan, it belongs in your collection. I love this game dearly. Now we're going to get into a little bit of weird stuff. Okay, not that this game is weird. This game's great. But it's more like I don't own a copy of this game. I don't own Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. I wish I did because I played it before and it's awesome. But this was a strategy guide that a friend of mine gave me. Because I don't remember why he gave it to me, but it's a strategy guide that a friend of mine gave me. And how could I say no? It's a game I want to eventually own, and whenever I do, I have a strategy guide for it, and hard to argue with that. Now we're getting into the really weird stuff, though. Suikoden 5. I don't own Suikoden 5, and I have no clue how I got a hold of the strategy guide. I don't remember anybody giving it to me. I certainly didn't buy it at any point because I don't own the game and never have. I own Suikoden 1 and 2, but I don't own 5, so it baffles me as to how this particular strategy guide rather wound up in my collection, but I do tend to like strategy guides quite a bit, so I'm not complaining. If I ever get the game, I have that at least. Valkyrie Profile 2. I've got Valkyrie Profile 1, but this is another one that I don't know how I got a copy of it. I've never bought the game. I have no recollection of ever getting the strategy guide, but it's in my collection, and I don't know how or why. The price tag says 1 cent. Maybe I paid 1 cent for it because they were just trying to get rid of it at GameStop or something. I don't know. But, again, not going to complain. If I ever do get a copy of the game, at least I've got the strategy guide to help me out. Let's look at something older. This is Secret of Evermore for the Super Nintendo. This was Jeremy Soul's very first game. When he was fresh out of college, Jeremy Soul, if you don't know, scored the Elder Scrolls games. So that all the amazing themes from Morrowind and Skyrim and Oblivion, he did all that music. And it's beautiful. And in my opinion, he is the American Uematsu, and I can't give him a higher compliment than that. And this was his first game, and it kind of shows because not every single composition is great, but when it is, it's wonderful. And check out Dog Maze from this particular game. It's amazing. Yeah, I have the strategy guide for that, and if you've never played this, it's a action RPG and similar to Secret of Mana. And it was actually developed by a short-lived U.S. branch of Square Enix called Square USA, and it was their only product, and it did not sell well because people blamed it for us not getting Seiken Densetsu 3, which we eventually got last year, finally. Which is unfair to this game. If you're pissed off with this game for that, I would urge you to at least give it a try, because it's a very good, quirky, silly game that has a lot of inspiration from like science fiction B movies and horror B movies and things like that, and it's awesome. I highly recommend giving it a playthrough. Vice City, my personal favorite Grand Theft Auto. I love the 80s aesthetic. I love the world. I love the characters. I love the music, especially V-Rock. This game is awesome. If you want a good place to start with old school GTA, this is about as good as it gets, in my opinion. Like I said, it's my personal favorite. I still have a poster of it on my wall to this day. This game is awesome. Highly recommended checking it out. Diablo 2, specifically the expansion pack Lords of Destruction. Diablo 2 would make it into my top 10 games ever made. That's how much I love this game. It is one of the best RPGs ever made. It's one of the best co-op games ever made. It's one of the best multiplayer games ever made. If you like a good hack and slash RPG, you owe it to yourself to get yourself a copy of Diablo 2 and play it. This is a game that we did early on in the channel's life, and we did a full playthrough of it. I did a video review as well. I should probably go back and redo that video review, play through it again, redo the video review, because that video review is not very good. That was when I didn't really know what I was doing, and my video reviews kind of sucked back then. Star Ocean Till the End of Time. I really don't particularly care for this game. There's a point where there's a big plot twist, and if you've played it, you know what I'm talking about, that just kills the game for me, and I'm not the only one that happens with. And people go back and forth on, oh, I love it, oh, I hate it, oh, I love it, oh, I hate it. And it seems to be there's no middle ground with this particular entry in the Star Ocean series. You love it or you hate it, and there's nothing in between. Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. It took me a while to get into this one, but when I finally did, boy, was I glad that I did, because it's a very, very good Zelda game. I just never really cared for the art style. Quite frankly, I still don't care for the art style, but that's neither here nor there. The game is still an amazing Zelda game once you get past that. Good music, interesting, fun world. Lots of great dungeons, lots of great gameplay. It'll keep you busy for a while. Excellent game. Folklore. This is a early PlayStation 3 game with a very unique dark fairy tale art style that, if you are a fan of action RPGs, Pokemon, or both, you should give this a try, because this is kind of like an action RPG version of Pokemon, or something with a much darker, more in-depth story. And it's really, really good. I wish I still owned my copy of it. I don't know what happened to it, but I don't have it anymore. But highly recommended checking out Folklore if you haven't. Dragon Quest VIII. Journey of the Cursed King. Unfortunately, this is not one of the better strategy guides because it's mostly just maps and not like a walkthrough, which a strategy guide is supposed to be, a walkthrough. By just being maps, it kind of defeats the purpose of the strategy guide. And the reason that they gave is, oh, this is such a wonderful game, you want to experience it on your own, which to an extent I agree with, but you're a strategy guide. Be a strategy guide. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. I quite like this game. This game is great, especially if you're playing it with friends. This is a really fun action RPG with an adorable world and character designs and all that stuff. And highly recommended. I'm really looking forward to the upcoming remaster of it. Suikoden 2. Figures I would have a strategy guide of a Suikoden game that I actually do own to go with Suikoden 5. At least I've got that, right? If you love RPGs, if you love Japanese RPGs in particular, you owe it to yourself to play Suikoden one way or another. It's wonderful. It's amazing. Resident Evil 4. I have already beaten this game for the channel. I've done a review of this game for the channel. I want to go back and beat Separate Ways at some point. But this game is amazing. There's a reason that I bought it 3 separate times at this point, because it's just that good. There's a reason that I played through it 5 or 6 times over the years. This is my personal favorite Resident Evil game. It's just that good. There's enough that's already been said about it. You don't need me to ramble on about it. It's great. Jak 3. If you have never played the Jak trilogy on the PlayStation 2 or the remastered version on the PlayStation 3, I do highly recommend giving them a try. They're a lot of fun. They're great. The first one is kind of a fairly standard platformer with a large interconnected world. The second and third one are like a mix of platforming and Grand Theft Auto, and it works a lot better than you think it would. And it's got a great sense of humor and good stories, especially for 2 and 3. Be careful with 2, though. It is hard as hell. Still, highly recommended. Speaking of Jak 2, there it is. Great game. Jak 2's awesome. Highly recommended. Again, I already described it to you, so I don't feel there's any point in repeating myself, but yeah, Jak 2's awesome. Highly recommended the Jak trilogy. Doom 2, we are playing through this right now on the channel, and if you watch this at some point in the future, we probably won't be anymore, but this is what we're currently Let's Playing as I'm recording this. And if you haven't figured it out, the Doom Dog YouTube channel is named after Doom, because it's my favorite franchise, period. That and Metal Gear Solid. Just wonderful level design. Like, some of the level design in Doom and Doom 2 is artistic with how good it is. Should be held on high as examples of this is how you do good level design. It's amazing. Doom 3. Fuck you, Doom 3's awesome. Seriously, I love this game. I fucking love Doom 3. It's amazing, and it's got such a wonderful atmosphere, and it builds an interesting world. I love the redesign of the monsters. The lighting engine is still amazing to this day. The weapons could pack a little more punch, but that's my one big gripe with it. It's a slower, horror-paced game, so don't go in expecting something like Doom 1 and Doom 2. It's a reinvention of that. So take it for what it is instead of wanting it to be something that it's not, and you'll find that it's quite enjoyable. This one's kind of beat up, but here is my strategy guide for Final Fantasy X-2. The funny thing is, I'm not even a particularly big fan of Final Fantasy X-2, but I like 10 quite a bit better. I think 10 is a much better game. Not that big on this one. It's kind of stupid. It's over the top, cheesy, and it just never really set right with me. I mean, it could be actually fun to play. Like, the battle system's very fast paced and can be fun. But then you get to the story and it's like, grown. You know what I mean? One more. Castlevania Dawn of Sorrows. The funny thing about this particular strategy guide is I don't even own a DS anymore. I used to, and I had this game for it, and that's why I have the strategy guide, but I don't own a DS anymore. But if you've got a DS or a 3DS that'll play DS games, check out Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow. If you like Symphony of the Night, and you damn well should like Symphony of the Night, you owe it to yourself to give this game a try. It's awesome. I completely forgot one. If this video looks and sounds different, it's because I'm recording it with my cell phone, trying to be as still as I can. But I forgot to mention Final Fantasy VII. I have this one too. I am currently using this one as I play through Final Fantasy VII. I wanted to try to beat it before the remake comes out. As I say that as if I'm going to get the remake at launch. I almost never get games at launch. This was a big selling one back in the day. I think it's, over 1 million copies. That's a lot for a strategy guide. And it's definitely a pretty darn good one. It doesn't tell you everything. Like, it does not tell you all the Fort Condor fights, for example. But as a general rule of getting most of what's in the game, this definitely will get you through. Sorry for the rather rough quality of this video. Again, shot with my cell phone because I'd already taken my stuff down. And yeah, strategy guides mean a lot to me. I don't think I'll ever stop collecting them. Every once in a while I'll just look through the local store and see if there are any that I'm interested in buying, because they're always going for cheap at places like Moving Trading Company. And I will pick one or two more up every now and then, just because, if nothing else, I just love flipping through them. I'm very nostalgic for them in general. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below. It will be greatly appreciated. We'll talk to you guys next time. Doom Dog out.